Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's video, I will be tracking two major storm systems set to bring heavy snow, heavy rain, and severe weather across the country going through the rest of this week and into next week, followed by a major polar vortex disruption event, which could bring our coldest temperatures of the season to the United States going into the first and second weeks of December. So thank you guys so much for joining here this morning on Thanksgiving. Again, I'm thankful for all of you guys joining me here today, so definitely hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. I cover Canada, I cover the United States, and the tropics on this channel, so hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates. So looking here at the current map of hazards here, we actually have some winter storm watches being hoisted across the panhandle of Texas into West Texas and eastern portions of New Mexico. This is for some significant wet snow that could fall and accumulate across these areas going into this upcoming weekend. But before we get to that, we're going to look at the overall big picture here because we have a very big, very dynamic storm system moving in across the country here. We have a positively tilted trough digging into the Pacific Northwest and getting down into portions here of the Four Corners here as we head through the day today. And you can see that over top of this, we're going to have a ridge of high pressure and we're going to have lots of warmer air pushing into portions of the Pacific Northwest here. And then we have lots of that cooler air and that cold low pressure system underneath of that ridge all the way down into portions of West Texas, the Four Corners. And that will continue to stay parked to the south because over top we have a ridge. And this is kind of like a roadblock here for low pressure systems as we have the ridge over top. Doesn't have anywhere to go, so it kind of remains parked to the south. And that will continue as we head into Friday on your November 25th. And even Saturday, November 26th, still hanging around portions of Texas, bringing some significant snow, significant rainfall as well, and even some severe weather as we head through this upcoming weekend. Looking at your daytime high temperatures for today, Thanksgiving Day on Thursday, November 24th, you can see lots of warmer air ahead of the system. Into the 40s and 50s we go across the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and parts of the Northeast. Some 60s can be felt across southern Ohio Valley, getting it through the Tennessee Valley and much of the Deep South. Widespread 70s from coast to coast across portions here of Texas to Florida and everywhere in between across the Gulf Coast here as we head into this afternoon. And then to the west, again, some cooler temperatures can be felt across the Rockies and getting up into the northern plains with some 30s and 40s mixed in up there as well. We do have some severe weather to talk about today. The Storm Prediction Center has hoisted a marginal risk on a scale from 0 to 5. This is a level 1 of 5 on the scale, so we definitely have to watch out for some isolated strong to severe storms across southeast Texas, getting in toward the Houston area, Corpus Christi, and even parts of southwestern Louisiana as well, and then some general thunderstorms surrounding that, including the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, Texarkana, getting up toward Little Rock, and then over there in towards portions of Jackson, Mississippi. Looking at the hazards for the severe weather potential here, we have a 2% shading of tornadoes. Again, this could be a brief spin-up tornado around the Houston area, so that will be something to watch. Getting into coastal Louisiana, we have to watch for a brief spin-up tornado with some of these storms later on today. We do have a 5% shading for a wind risk. We could have some isolated damaging winds that could be up to around 60, 65 miles per hour at the strongest. And again, a very small bullseye here for a 5% shading for large hail. Could be up to around penny size to quarter size at the highest, I think, across south central Texas. We'll have to keep an eye on that as we go through later on today. So let's track this here of what the radar could look like later on here this morning. We could have some showers and storms rumbling through portions here of northeast Texas, getting through Arkansas and northwestern Louisiana. A few of these could be on the feistier side, bringing some heavier downpours, some frequent lightning, and maybe even some smaller hail as well. As we go into the afternoon, we'll start to become a little bit more organized with a little bit of a surge to the south toward the Houston area into southwestern Louisiana. We could be seeing some heavier downpours here, some damaging winds, and also some hail potential. But again, we have to watch out for an isolated brief spin-up tornado, especially on the leading edge of all of these storms here, or if a storm can remain isolated here and discrete, we could be seeing our threat of tornadoes maximized across those areas, and then that continue to move off to the east across portions of Louisiana and Mississippi, becoming more of a heavy rain threat overnight and going into your Friday morning. And again, the heavy rainfall threat is going to be there because we have precipitable water values up to around 1.5 to nearly 2 inches here across places like southeast Texas, Louisiana, and coastal Mississippi. So this is going to be bringing lots of heavy rainfall potential across this region, so much so that the Weather Prediction Center has hoisted a slight risk for excessive rainfall across the deep south. This includes East Texas, all of Louisiana, southern portions there of Mississippi, into southwestern Alabama, and even a marginal risk of that getting up closer to portions of Little Rock and the Memphis area as well. So that will be something to watch as we head later on today. But as we move into your Friday morning, again, this all moves to the east. Our first batch of moisture moves into the southeast, places like Atlanta, Georgia, and Birmingham. Some of these areas will be seeing some heavier rain farther to the east into the Carolinas. But another surge of moisture will be moving into Texas here on the backside, producing some snow. Ahead of that, producing more heavy rainfall and isolated severe weather again as we head through the day on Friday. That really continues across much of central Texas as we head into Friday afternoon and Friday evening before pushing off to the east through the morning and afternoon hours on your Saturday, again bringing some heavier rainfall again across East Texas, Louisiana, and much of the deep south. Again, as we head into Friday, again, those precipitable water values are going to be around 1 to 1.5 inches, so that will be something to keep an eye on, especially across coastal Texas. That is something we'll have to keep an eye on for some flooding concerns on Friday. We have another slight risk for excessive rainfall, especially across southeast Texas. This includes the Austin area, potentially getting over there toward Houston, Corpus Christi, Tyler, Texas, and then southwestern Louisiana. Again, this does also include the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We could have a marginal risk, a 5 to 10% chance of some flash flooding concerns across those areas as we head into the day on Friday. Looking over the next 72 hours, this is what you could see for precipitation. This is all liquid precipitation in the form of rainfall. This is a lot of rainfall as well. In the red shaded colors here, or the maroon colors, that is around 2 to 3 inches of rain. Where you see the oranges showing up, or the peach colors, those are around 4 to 5 inches of rain, especially down toward the Houston area into southwestern Louisiana, maybe a little bit of a bullseye there toward the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So that will be something to watch as we head through the next couple of days, going all the way through the next 72 hours into your Saturday evening. But looking here on the system's backside, yes, we have some snowfall. I did mention we do have winter storm watches across western Texas, the Texas Panhandle, into eastern New Mexico, and we have some cooler temperatures starting to dig in here all the way southward towards this area as we head in toward the Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening time frame. Temperatures diving back into the middle 30s, and again, that will continue. We'll see colder air start to move in from the north into the Texas Panhandle, eastern New Mexico. Into the low 30s we go into Thursday evening, and then that will be producing some rather healthy snowfall accumulations with some heavy wet snow across this area. Again, in these blue shaded colors, that is a winter storm watch. These areas could be upgraded to winter storm warnings or downgraded to a winter weather advisory. No matter how you slice it, we're looking for some accumulating snow across this area as we head through the next 48 hours. So looking here at the next 48 hours, going all the way through the morning hours on Saturday, some pretty significant snowfall again across southeastern and eastern New Mexico, getting into western Texas here. We could be seeing snowfall amounts anywhere from 4 to 8 inches. And there's even an outside chance we could see up to 10 inches potentially in a spot or two, especially into southeastern New Mexico, as the heavy snow band sits over this area for hours and hours going through the day on Friday. But then as we get through late this weekend here on your Sunday, November 27th, that system starts to move off to the east toward the east coast. We'll see a lull in the action across the west here as our next storm system starts to take aim on the Pacific Northwest as we get in towards that Sunday afternoon and evening time frame. But before that, again, we have more widespread rain across the East Coast here from portions of Pennsylvania, New York, getting all the way down through Maryland, Eastern Virginia, into the Carolinas, and maybe all the way down into North Florida there. This will all be liquid precipitation. We could have some lighter snowfall across the northern side of this precipitation shield, across northern portions of Michigan into the upper Great Lakes, maybe southern Ontario, southern Quebec as we get into Sunday afternoon. That system will start to move off to the east and move into eastern Canada as we head into the Monday morning time frame. Maybe some flurries and light snow showers lingering there across portions of New England and getting into the eastern Ohio Valley. But then we got to talk about our next storm system that pushes into the area of the western United States here into early next week on your Monday, November 28th time frame. You can see a very large ridge starts to build across the northeastern Pacific here, all the way up through the Aleutian Islands and Alaska. Again, what goes up must come down, and we have another trough developing, a very strong trough across the western United States going into Monday. That continues into Tuesday. And then it looks like that trough will start to eject across the middle of the country toward the mid-Mississippi Valley as we head towards the middle of next week to close out the month of November on Wednesday, November 30th. So let's look at the overall pattern here to end the month of November and go into those first few days of December. The Climate Prediction Center's forecast here does show a likelihood for above normal temperatures across the east and southeastern United States, and very likely below normal temperatures across the northwest and western United States, centered on Montana, the Dakotas, and getting back to the west into the Pacific Northwest, going all the way through Saturday, December 3rd. Also, you see a lot of green on the map. Yes, we are seeing a lot of precipitation, potentially with a couple of different storm systems. These will be major storm systems producing some heavier snowfall, heavier rainfall, and some severe weather at times as well. This will be felt across much of the lower 48, going all the way through that Saturday, December 3rd timeframe as well. Speaking of that timeframe, as we get in towards the late November timeframe here on Monday, November 28th, these are your afternoon high temperatures on that Monday timeframe, looking at 40s, 50s, and even some 60s across the immediate Gulf Coast. This will be a recipe for some severe weather as we get into early next week, especially as we turn into Tuesday, November 29th. We have a very strong, very potent cold front diving to the southeast from the northwest, and you can see here across eastern Iowa in particular, we could be in the middle 50s, but western half of the state will be in the upper 20s. So a huge temperature difference that is expected as we head into Tuesday. And ahead of this cold front, we'll definitely have a lot of moisture to work with. Dew points rising into the 50s up into the Missouri Valley, southern Illinois, 60-degree dew points across the deep south, across Texas, Arkansas, southeastern Oklahoma, getting into Louisiana and Mississippi. Even some low 70 dew points could not be ruled out across southeast Texas, getting into southern Louisiana. And we have a very dynamic, very strong kinematics with this system as well. We have a very powerful 500 millibar mid-level jet rounding the base of this trough as we head into that Tuesday afternoon time frame. That'll be around 80 to 90 knots, if not a little bit stronger. And we'll also have a very appreciable low-level jet as well across this area, coinciding with that mid-level jet. So the kinematics will be there. It just depends on how much instability does grow will determine the overall magnitude of the severe weather threat. But even the low-level jet here, as you see, in excess of 50 knots. So that will be pretty impressive here with this system. And that's why the Storm Prediction Center already on their Day 7 outlook here yesterday has put out a slight risk, or a 15% shading across southeastern Oklahoma, west central portions of Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, and into northeast Texas. This includes the Little Rock area, Shreveport, and then getting back into Texarkana and the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex as we head in towards the middle of next week on your Tuesday timeframe. Looking here again on Tuesday, we could have some of these supercell thunderstorms starting to fire up here, maybe a line of storms with damaging winds, some embedded tornadoes, and some hail out there, as well as the heavy rainfall as we head into the deep south on your Tuesday. That will be something to watch. Again, that threat area could expand for severe weather as we head into Tuesday afternoon and evening. I'll keep you posted on that. We may be going live on that day. We'll just have to wait and see as we get closer. But as we head into Wednesday, the final day of November, on Wednesday, November 30th, again, a line of storms pushes across the Ohio and Tennessee River valleys in the deep south, possibly bringing some more severe weather across these areas as well. And that remains unchanged. I think we have some severe weather from west central Kentucky, the Tennessee area, getting down here into the deep south across Mississippi, Alabama, and then eastern Louisiana as we head in toward that Wednesday, November 30th timeframe. So that is what I think currently. Looking again at Wednesday, again, that powerful cold front will be pushing across the eastern side of the country. 50s and 60s can be felt all the way to the north, all the way up toward the Detroit area and Toronto area as well, into Ontario, Canada. So that will be something to watch. And a lot of 70s across coastal Carolinas, getting back into northern Florida, Georgia here, and across the southeast. Dew points will be rising as well on Wednesday, so that will be something to keep an eye on for the severe weather potential. Very dry behind the cold front, very moist, warm air mass across portions of the southeast. And again, the kinematics will be pretty impressive across this area as we go into Wednesday, even more impressive than on Tuesday. A very potent 120 knot mid-level jet will be moving through the Midwest here in the western Ohio Valley during this time frame on Wednesday, and a very appreciable low-level jet here, potentially over 60 knots across the eastern side of the country as we head during that time frame as well. But we do have to talk about the cold side because we do have some potential cooler weather moving in as well on the northwest side of the system, bringing maybe some sticking snow across Wisconsin, potentially northern Illinois, southern and southeastern Iowa, getting all the way back toward the Kansas City area, much of Kansas, and then back toward the Denver area. We could be seeing some light snowfall accumulations. Right now, early estimates do favor about 1 to 3 inches generally across this area from Milwaukee, just to the west of Chicago, back here across the Kansas City area, and then toward the Denver area. So that will be something to watch. In comparison, that was the European forecast model. This is the GFS model showing a similar solution, maybe a little bit farther to the east here with the storm track, but otherwise still saying about 1 to 3 inches across those areas. But after that, we are going to be settling in for quite the winter cool down across this area here, going to the first full week in December, if not even farther than this. And this will have some staying power as well, going from December 1st all the way through at least December 7th. Likely below normal temperatures can be favored, centered on the Pacific Northwest, but this will be spreading eastward with time as we get towards the second week in December, towards the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and potentially even the Northeast as well. The only areas for warmth will be across the Southeast, in particular South Florida. So if you have any vacation plans, yeah, go down towards Miami, go down towards Tampa, Naples, Florida. Those will be the areas here, very popular for the warmer temperatures as we kind of move into the first and second week here in December. And it all has to do with this polar vortex. This is our first polar vortex disruption event, I think, of the season, going into that first and second week in December. You can see all these pinks and purples up to the north. That is your polar vortex, and it stays up into Canada for the time being to start the first few days of December. But watch this as we go into December 3rd, 4th time frame. That starts to move into the northern plains and upper Midwest, bringing some very cold, very frigid temperatures across these areas, and then that sweeps its way to the east and really dives southward. We could be seeing some colder temperatures as far south as North Texas and the Gulf Coast potentially as we head into that 4th and 5th time frame here in December, and even further on beyond that. So looking at the surface, what these temperatures could look like, this could change a little bit here in the coming days, but giving you some early estimates of what your high temperatures could be on a Thursday, December 1st. Yeah, these are high temperatures across the 30s and 40s across, eastern United States, but up to the north, Saskatchewan, Alberta, getting into British Columbia. Those are your high temperatures, folks, across those areas. -10 to -20, if not colder, across those areas for your highs up in those areas. Single-digit highs across North Dakota, getting back into Montana, if not around 0 degrees, and then across the Rockies, very cold in those upper elevations here. That will be spreading its way to the east a little bit further on Friday, December 2nd. Those are daytime highs across the Dakotas and Minnesota. Yeah, we could be troubling to crack the 0 degree mark across portions of North Dakota, getting in towards Montana and Wyoming on your Friday, and then really starting to cool down across portions of the Missouri Valley, getting into the Great Lakes as we head in towards Saturday, December 3rd, with, again, teens and single digits for highs across much of those areas, especially centered on southern Canada and on the upper Midwest. So that will be something to watch as we get a little bit closer. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up button down below. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. Thank you guys for all the new subscribers out there. Definitely appreciate it, helping to grow this channel some more. So again, I'm so thankful for you guys, an amazing audience. Thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button, guys, and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates. And I'll see you all in the next video.